Hello friends, welcome to today's class. So this is Vinay Sangoli and we have started with your DIP, that is digital image processing. Yeah. So in the previous classes we have seen about your introduction. So this was the first class and we have done with all those things. I have also given you a revision of these topics. So in the previous class, we started with what actually is your general purpose system, which could be used for image processing. So this is what we have seen in the previous class, this whole block diagram, like what is your image sensor and what is your specialized image processing hardware. Then we saw a computer, then we came to your image processing software, and from there we have also moved to your storage, image displays, and then we have moved to hard copy. So all these things have been covered in the previous class. So we have seen a number of things here, how the image sensors work, how they capture the image, and then how they give it to your hardware, then how it is, which are the various computers which could be used for your image processing. All those things we have seen in the previous class. Then we saw various software packages, either it could be in the form of modules or it could be in the form of the individual software. Then we came to your storage and why we require a mass storage, what is the reason behind all those, what is the reason behind mass storage requirement, all those things we have seen. Then we came to your hard copy, how the hard copy could be retrieved or how it could be stored. Then we came to the displays. There are various displays we have seen, like it could be your monitors or it could be TV screens and all those things. Now, going ahead with the next class. So today we'll check upon your visual perception, how the image is perceived, that is how the image could be viewed. So in order to understand that, let us go through the structure of your human eye. Maybe I will not go in much detail in this human eye, that is maybe I will just give you a small glimpse. I'll give you how the human eye could be, or how the structure of the human eye is there. Okay, so why this human eye is required? Because most of our cameras, what we see in today's day, are basically taking the fundamentals of the human eye. That is, they try to copy your human eye and they are going ahead. So that's why it's very important to understand how this human eye works. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the cross section view of your human eye. Whatever you can see here, it is nothing but it is the cross section view of your human eye. And here the human eye diameter is approximately somewhere around 20 mm, whatever the diagram you are seeing here. So its diameter in actual is somewhere around 20 mm, and it has three main membranes. One is cornea, whatever the outer surface you can see here, this one. So this is your cornea. Yeah, whatever the outer surface you can see here, this is nothing but your cornea. Then comes the sclera, which is also an outer surface, and it lies somewhere here. So this sclera, it is also an outer surface. Then you have choroid and the retina. So choroid and retina would be here, somewhere here. So this is your retina, and this thing which I have already marked during sclera, this is your choroid. So these are nothing but the inner surfaces. So remember friends, there are two outer surfaces. This cornea is an outer surface, sclera is also an outer surface, choroid and retina are the inner surfaces. Okay, so yeah. Now, so moving ahead, the cornea is very tough and it has transparent tissues, and it tries to cover the anterior surface of the eye. Okay, so and sclera is the opaque membrane. It is opaque and it tries to cover the remainder of the optic lobe. That's why we have on one side we have cornea, and on the other side we have your choroid. Okay, so you can see here on one side you have the cornea and the other side you have the choroid. Okay, now this choroid, it lies just below sclera. You can see here this choroid is just below your sclera, and this membrane has lot of blood vessels and it forms the major form for your nutrition. This choroid will be giving the nutrition to our eye. Now, going ahead, when we speak of your very important thing here is retina. I hope you might have already heard of this retina. Retina forms a very important major part, so that retina gives us most of the visual aspects. Okay, so and in the anterior extreme, you can see that choroid is divided into two parts. One is ciliary body, and another one is your iris. So both of them are visible here. One is ciliary fibers, and another one is your iris. So based on these two things, our visual is depending. Now the lens, whatever you can see here, the lens part, whatever you can see, it is made up of all the fibrous cells, and it contains around 60 to 70% of water and about 6% of fat, and it contains more of the proteins, and this lens will be changing its color based on age. Okay, so coming to the most important part, which is nothing but your retina. So this here you can see, this is your retina, and it lines the inside of the wall. It is inside, and whenever the eye is properly focused, then the light will be from the object will be falling on this retina, and then the image is recorded. And the pattern vision is also depending on this retina. Apart from this retina, you also have cones and rods, which we'll be seeing here. You have cones and rods, and these cones and rods are the another major part of your human eye. These are somewhere around 6 to 7 million, and they are located near fovea. Okay, so this cones and eyes are present here near fovea, here in this region, and they are the ones which would be trying you to tell the color of the image or the color of the object. Now the cone vision, whatever we have, is called as photopic, or it is also called as bright vision. So you can see here, this cone vision is called as photopic. So here is your cone vision. So if the cone vision is not there, as we are pointing through this red line, then we can see there is no vision. The red light, whatever the dots I am trying to tell you, these are nothing but the rods. So if the rods are not there, then you get a blind spot. You can see here 0. Okay, so at 0 degree you have some rods, and if these rods are not present, you can see here it gives you a blind spot. Okay, so coming to your rods are much larger when you compare to your cones. So cones are somewhere around, as I told you, around 6 to 7 million, but rods are somewhere around 75 to 150 million, and they are distributed over the entire retinal surface. Whatever the retina you can see here, on this entire region, you will be finding your rods. So rods are in general used to give you the overall picture of the view. Whatever the overall picture, if you want to see, you require your rods, which are there on the retina. So therefore, I was telling in the beginning of the class that retina is very much important. One more very important thing here is they are not concerned with your color vision. They are only concerned with the illumination. How dark the object can be seen, that is how bright the object can be seen, will be depending on your rods. Like say for example, I am seeing a tree in front of me. Say there is a tree, and in the daylight you can say that the tree is appearing more bright, and in the moonlight the tree will not be that much bright. This detection is done with the help of your rods. Okay, so next very important thing here is, so whatever this whole region you can see in blue, this is the overall picture detail. So this overall picture detail is called as scotopic. So whatever you can see here, this is called as scotopic. And the next very important thing you have is the blind spot. How this blind spot is produced. So this blind spot is produced basically because we cannot see something in the region. So whatever you can see here, the black arrow. So these are our blind spots of the eye. These are our blind spot of the eye. Like when you say a single eye would see only up to angle of 180 degrees. That's why you can see here, apart from 180 degrees, what you have the blind spot. So that blind spot is given by this black line. So this black line is corresponding to this blind spot. Okay, so I hope I am clear. Just from this discussion, you just remember that the structure of the eye, at the outer surface you have cornea and sclera. At the inner surface you have choroid and your retina. Okay, so the main visual perception is based with the help of the retina and the rods, and the color perception is done with the help of the cones. That's what you remember. And if you go back, Yeah, if you go back, this is my whole vision perception, which would be giving me, that is whatever I have drawn in blue line, that would be giving me the vision perception. And this spot, or this wherein when you have the highest sensitivity, that is called as photopic. And you also have a blind spot. The blind spot is again due to the structure of the eye itself, and here you can find the blind spot. Okay, now going ahead, so this is how we can represent the eye. That is, say for example, this is my retina, whatever you can see here, this is our retina, like 1 second friends. Yeah, say this is our whole eye, this is my retina, and I hope you might have already heard n number of times that whatever the image you can see, so this is my image, which is somewhere at a distance of 100 meters, say it is at a distance of 100 meters. So when you see the image which is here, that is the coconut tree, when it falls on the retina, it will be an inverted image. So you can say these two triangles, whatever are forming here, they are inverse to one another, right? So the inverted image will then be visible to us as a proper image. Now, whenever we have one theory, that is, whenever a ray passes through the center C of the lens, so this is my center C, this is my center C, this is my whole lens, and this dotted line, whatever you can see here, this dotted line, it gives you the center C of the lens. So whenever a light passes through the center C of the lens, then the visibility will be available. Then we say that it is the visibility is proper. Now, to give you an example why we are discussing all these things, like say for example, you have a camera, right? And you want to focus some things which are there at a distance. Then what do you do? What is the usual procedure we have? We try to focus the lens of the camera. That is, we try to adjust the lens of the camera so that you can focus on that particular object. Similarly, when it comes to human eye, we cannot focus the lens of our eye, but what we'll be doing is the distance between the lens and the lesion, it will be fixed always, but we can adjust the focal length. And how it could be done? This could be done with the help of the fibers which are present in our eye. So I hope I am clear. What we'll be doing, we try to achieve the focus by varying the shape of the lens. Whatever the lens you can see here in the previous diagram, this one, this thing, whatever the lens you can see here, we'll try to adjust the shape of the lens. Like say for example, right now the shape is a larger shape. Now say for example, I want to focus. Usually we try to make our eyes small when we want to focus. Okay, so in that case the lens shape is changed. So how you change the lens shape? With the help of the fibers which are present, and the name of that fiber is called as ciliary body. Okay, so and how do you change the shape of the lens? It is nothing but you try to flatten it or you try to thicken it. That is what we'll be doing. Okay, so this is all about how your eyes would be seeing the whole image. Okay, now going to next very important thing. 1 second. Yeah, going to next very important thing would be about your visible spectrum. So now we'll go ahead with the discussion of the visible spectrum.